Hi friends, happy Friday. Tracy Brown here. Hope you're having a terrific day. And let's make sure everything works. Okay, my headphones are up as loud as they can go. So if that's blasting you out, please turn your volume down, or maybe I should do a couple notches. There we go. Okay. So this week we talked about movement, not just, I know the word exercise, has its modern day connotations of, thank you for letting me know you can hear me, has its modern day connotations of moving to accomplish something. And of course, we want to move it towards something that we can feel the hunger for. We know how to turn the volume up or down on it naturally. And we certainly don't use it as a way to prove any kind of worth or toughness or all that kind of stuff. Now, this week we did talk about what if I want a challenge? How do I do that safely? Which we did talk about earlier. If you caught Monday's video, it's a little different, that there are people who have gone through this whole process, years of breaking up with making it a should and a punishment for what our bodies look like, or doing it out of fear because of somebody said if you don't exercise more, you're going to die. Or moving away from all that fear-based way of moving, and more of a way of how does my body like to move, and what might be standing in the way of me letting myself have that, and maybe in the other end of the spectrum where it's how do I maybe it's more of the same. It's okay, so how do I keep excavating this whole thing of my movement has something to mean about me? And so today I want to talk about just the basics of, again, you see babies, and again, anybody's welcome to ask any questions. I will be here for the next few minutes to answer questions about movement, your relationship with it, where you're stuck, and I will give you a quick answer. So if you throw them out now, I'll have time to do it. So please do that quickly if you have an answer or a question. So as babies, you've watched babies hopefully, and they move because for the sheer sake of they can, and they enjoy it, and it gets them around essentially, and it lets them be independent. Now, I know that sometimes life brings us cards we don't love, which is not all of us get to be independent forever with the way our bodies can move. And I know that takes grieving, and we're going to be frustrated by that. For those of you who aren't in those experiences, it's, again, movement was, if we came with all of our appendages working a certain way. How do I get away from all or nothing thinking? I'm going to talk about that. I did talk about it a lot this week. And Jill, I have a ton of videos about that. So make sure you go back to Monday's video. I have 3 or 4 videos listed about this topic, but I'll talk about it again for you real quick. Remember, movement, in my opinion, is inherently a birthright. And we do it because it helps us with our independence. It helps us with our functionality and our just inherently being capable to do stuff. I think we all take that for granted for sure, because we're really lost in the busyness of our days and all the things we have to accomplish. And our life is so digitalized, we don't have to move much to accomplish a lot. So we do have some barriers with just the way that modern life lives, unless you decide to stop all this and go farm, basically. But for the most part, most of us have to carve around spaciousness and time to do it. And I just encourage you all to really get back to a place of, does it have to be hard? Does it have to be time consuming? Does it have to accomplish anything except for the sheer fact of being in my body and appreciating the time I get to spend in moving my body, and what inherent things it gives me. So I'm just going to leave that thought right there for everybody, is it just feels good. It's a nice day here. It's not blazing hot yet. And I'm thinking, it would be nice after this, this video and this next appointment I have to just feel some breeze and get around some birds and feel the cross-body movement of walking. That's going to feel good, because my body can do that. And, there's a level of intrinsic benefit you get from that. Is it going to make me super fit? No, but it's enough, for my cardiovascular system and my lungs and my muscles to stay where I'm at, which is fine. Okay, so I want to answer Jill's question. How do I get away from all or nothing exercise? Well, we have to unpack how we got there in the first place. So if you have beliefs about like that I have to do a certain amount to be fit, to change my body, that's the first step. If I believe that I need to do a certain amount of intensity to be proven that I work hard enough, or that have a lot of willpower, or I'm strong, those are some beliefs you want to unpack. So that's the mental part of it. The body, emotional part of it's going to be like breaking your rules like over and over again until that becomes a new neural network of like, I couldn't, 20 years ago, I could not have just taken a walk, a 10-minute walk, because that's all I had time for. It wouldn't have counted because it wasn't intense enough. I wasn't sweating. I wasn't exhausted. And it was just 10 minutes, so I didn't burn enough calories, so it doesn't count. If that's the mentality that you have, that's the first step, is like, no, our bodies don't keep track. It's not a computer saying, oh, you only did 10 minutes, so you're not a worthy human. No, bodies just acclimate to the movement we do. And for the amount or intensity we do, we just get better at doing that. So just really important to be able to catch that. Okay, so I do have set standards of what I have to do. Yeah, so I would start, if I were in your shoes, and I know you're not totally asking for my full advice, but I've been there, is I start breaking those standards. I'd say, you know what, I'm doing 2 times. If I have a standard of 4 times, I'm saying, you know what, I'm only going to do 3. And I'm going to be with the emotion that comes up, and that extra time that I would have been, I'm going to do something else nice for myself, which is maybe sit outside in the sunshine and do some reading, or visit a friend, or have coffee, or do something else. And you're going to knock up against maybe guilt or frustration and all the emotional physicality from a somatic and nervous system perspective of feeling afraid, let's say, or whatever. And we have to use our self-care to be able to, like, I am not this amount of exercise. I know some people say, no, but I have to do this much for my health. And it's like that pressure and that adrenaline that you're pumping out with keeping these standards in the long term isn't helping you. And so I'm not saying that, say, it's not a good idea to have a routine. Routines aren't inherently bad, but it's just the pressure we put on ourselves with those routines that makes it disordered. That it doesn't match. It's like the intensity and the worry and the shame doesn't match. The thing is that, like, once we start moving towards a body trust way of moving, like, yeah, I trust that, like, I will move consistently because I love doing X, Y, Z, and I want to carve out time in my day for it because I enjoy it. And, icing on the cake, and it also happens to help me manage my cholesterol, let's say, great. But to beat ourselves up thinking if we don't meet a standard this week, and the belief that I'll never, like, I'll start decreasing my exercise every week and forever, and then I'll never manage my cholesterol, that's the all or nothing thinking you want to look at. It's like, just because I don't want to go 4 times a week this week doesn't mean I won't next week. That's where trust comes in. But trust isn't there when we're in fear. So you can't really be doing 2 things at one time, faith or fear. It's like you got to either be in fear with your movement or in faith with your movement, and you can't do both at the same time. So I hope that answers those questions and gives you some more nuance to explore. So I hope you all have a really great day, great weekend. Please leave your comments or questions below. I've been kind of, like I said, trying to post like some back post about, like, to supplement the current post that give you more depth and direction to go and nuance. But I do think, because I've had a lot of interest in this topic this week, that I need to kind of create some kind of more in-depth thing for y'all. So I'm going to be working on that. Not some big paid thing, but like something small. Because there is a need for more of that out there. And I should, because I have a lot of experience. This was the hardest thing for me to recover from, was exercise. I had a hard fall. I was pretty exercise addicted. And then I fell into, like, a long time of, like, not doing anything and not wanting to do anything and couldn't find anything I liked. So I guess I should share that journey out of that depth of that. So if you're coming live, thank you so much as always. Please pass this along to friends that you feel like this mini lesson around exercise would be helpful to. I think we discussed some really important things today. Pass it along, because I know a lot of people struggle with all or nothing with exercise and having it be in its proper place with its proper function. So Thank you all so much, and take care. I'll talk to you next week. Bye.